Taking criticism. This is something I just thought about spontaneously, when watching something program about Gordon Ramsay. I remember some of his episodes, where he had those kitchen nightmares, series. Yeah, there were a few people that really reacted negatively, when he tried to give them, constructive criticism. But how do you know what's constructive and what's just, busting your balls criticism? Let's find out. you know, uh, Unfortunately, criticism is something we all must face, not soon, now and then. Some of us more than others, but yeah, we all do something wrong sometimes because we are not machines, we are humans. So, let that be said first. Don't feel so terribly bad if you make a mistake and you get corrected for it. It's just, it's a part of, being human, being an adult. It's a part of learning, about life and everything. This most often happens on working places, but also in a school as well. Yeah, well, that's another thing, subject that I don't want to talk about. School is something else. You get corrected quite a lot there, but that's natural. You are not yet mature, and yeah, you got a lot to learn when you go to school. Still, when you are going to school, I mean. But when you have finished all that, and you know you are supposed to start with your life like a mature adult, a responsible adult, and you get a job and things are going well smoothly until suddenly something just clicks wrong. Something just goes wrong, sooner or later. In everybody's job, almost everybody experiences that. Yeah, but this doesn't just apply for professional, world or life. I mean, in life in general, sometimes you have to take criticism. And I know it wasn't easy for me. It's not easy for anybody, but especially for people who, aren't really used to making many mistakes, put it that way, or, who are a little bit perfectionists. So for us who are perfectionists, it's harder when we make a mistake than for people who aren't. They just accept it as something natural. Yeah, I made a mistake, what the hell can happen? Let's move on. Yeah, for us who are kind of more perfectionists, it's harder for us to also realize, to admit a mistake that we have made a mistake. It's harder for us to accept it as well. Like, oh no, how could this have happened? Like we think like that, and we are really upset when something happens. Yeah. So sometimes it's just a slip of, judgment. Your judgment slips, or your concentration slips, whatever it may be, while you are doing a job, and yeah, something goes wrong. Maybe you have been too stressed. Also very often it happens because of the stress, working too much and worrying. Maybe the situation at home, isn't that great either. some problems there. And that's, yeah, when you are most likely to make a mistake like that. So, yeah, I mean, it's also harder, of course, when you work for a person who is also a bit of a perfectionist. I have experienced that, yeah. And then, the criticism you can get from them is quite, wow. You don't want to piss off those people. You don't want to make a mistake if you work for those kind of people. Yeah. So, but it is important, I mean, to just take it as well as possible and, just learn from it. And sometimes if you're, they can also show, I mean, this guy that I worked for once, he showed, understanding because back at that time I was going through a very hard period at home. There was, you don't want to go there, but, there were, some kind of a crisis. So, and so yeah, he was like very, yeah, all right, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to be so hard on you, but so that was a very positive thing. But some people just love to correct you and bust your balls, and then of course it's not that constructive criticism. So, you know, that's where I'm going now. When it's constructive, you are obliged to take it. Because if you don't, if you just storm out like some kind of brat and you go, I don't know, I can't listen to this, I did nothing wrong, leave me alone, then people, will not take it well, of course, and, they'll say, oh no, what the hell is wrong with this guy? I don't want to have him working for me, or, and then they can spread the word around also to other people, other employers, and you don't get a job because of that. You don't get another job and stuff like that. And so yeah, that can ruin you. And in fact, not being able to take constructive criticism. However, there are some bosses who are really a pain in the ass. Really kind of. There's no other word for it. They just love busting your balls and love correcting, and then that's different because you are not obliged to take shit from them. You are not obliged to listen to that kind of criticism. Some of you just nagging, like, especially if they are too condescending. There are people, you know I've come across, I've never worked for anybody who was like that, fortunately, but I've heard stories, from others, and quite hair raising stories. Bosses that love to just, give you the old screw job. Like, I mean, it's incredible what some people can allow themselves to say, I mean, to others who work for them, like colleagues. Because no matter who is boss, who isn't, we are all colleagues, right? So we are supposed to, have a certain respect for each other, not just that the underlings have to respect the boss, but the boss has to respect people who work for him, right? Yeah, but that's kind of that doesn't work. That doesn't go for all bosses, unfortunately. And so, if you are subjected to such a, kind of scrutiny and criticism that you can see isn't rooted in something else than just, him wanting to help you, because others, when it's constructive criticism, it's because the guy is actually also trying to say to what you are doing wrong, what you must do better, correct? and that way is helping you, right? So that's what you must always remember, have it in the back of your head. Don't just stand there and think, oh, this guy's such an asshole, such a pain in the ass, right? And just wants to, have a rise from me. And yeah, there are bosses who actually do want to get a rise from you, or however you put it. And then you are not obliged to take it, all right? Then you should protest and say, of course, not let it escalate to a fight or anything, but just say, I'm sorry, but I don't agree with you, and you are, a little bit, out of line, and so yeah, I don't have to take this really. I don't have to listen to this because it's not constructive criticism you're giving me, and yeah, so and of course, most of these are people who are very like who have these power game they who go on power trips, right? This is about this. That's what it is. It's a power trip, right? He thinks I'm the boss. I can do whatever what the hell I want. All right. What the hell? Today I'm gonna pick on somebody just for my own amusement, so I feel better. I have a crappy day, and very often it's because they are having a bad day, that they pick on you. So that's why also you know, that's the big difference. You can see, whenever they go too far, that something wrong. They are having a bad day, a crappy day, and that's why they are being extra hard on you, because maybe you made just a little kind of slight error that is nothing really big to make a fuss about, but you know, they just go at you for no reason. Then, you know, it's hard to take that too, and you shouldn't have to stand for it. And but at the same time, if you really retaliate, I mean, some of us who are emotional, we in those situations we feel like really kind of ripping the guy a new one. We really feel like giving back the same way, like starting to shout and curse and fuck you and asshole. But I don't think that's good for you. You can easily end up losing your job because of that. Because he has maybe he's doing it from the first place in the first place because he doesn't like you, but he has to have you there. But maybe sometimes it can even be their strategy to get rid of you, to piss you off, to make you confront you, so in order for to make you confront them, and like be really angry and lose it, and then they have a reason to fire you. They just go and say, "Hey, that guy called me this and that," I now I gotta fire him. I have a reason. No, I can't stand for that, and blah blah blah. So yeah, that's how it works. So that kind of criticism is really the worst kind of criticism. Yeah. So we now I'm talking about job, like professional. When it comes to other types of criticism, like if a friend, for instance, criticizes you, then you must know that he's doing that because he's concerned for you. Maybe it's because he thinks you drink too much alcohol or smoke too much or don't exercise, don't eat healthy. So if he's busting your chops, about it, you shouldn't get angry. I mean, because he or she are, just looking out to, they want the best for you and they want you to be healthy. And, but yeah, of course, it can be annoying. Yeah, no doubt. It can be. Some people don't. The problem is, many people don't know how to do it right. They don't know how to approach a friend, sit down with them and say, hey, I think you are. drinking or eating whatever too much and too unhealthy lifestyle, whatever. Maybe it can be other things. Maybe they think you spend money too much or on wrong things or you gamble or whatever it is. But because they love you, they often get very emotional, and then emotions can just boil over and you know easily ends up in a fight, like a verbal fight most often, maybe sometimes even physical. I don't know really, but most often verbal fight, and that can be that can really ruin a friendship as well. So you must know how to approach a friend with criticism. First, you must let them know that you only want to, you are concerned about them and that you want just the best for them, of course, and you are not judging them. You must make that very clear. I'm not judging you, but you have this and that problem and you gotta do something about it, right? So that's how it was. But many, I had a friend for instance, who was like really, would get really like emotional when talking to me about what he thought I should change about my life, and and he would nag a little too much. So don't nag, don't nag. Just say your piece and that's it. Then you move on to other things. You know, talk about everyday things. Just don't nag for hours and hours. Because most people don't want to listen to that. Maybe they are also aware they have some certain problem in the back of their head, but they don't want you nagging at them for that, because then it gets even harder for them to do something about it, to confront that, to realize. I mean, to just get the motivation to do something about it. But this way, you're nagging about them. It feels bad for them. They get maybe even depressed from it. They feel ashamed, embarrassed, even. It's like their father, like they are 10 years old again, and their father is screaming at them because they, I don't know, smashed their bike or whatever. So yeah, but you must know how to do that. And if you aren't sure, then you must seek some kind of professional, advice about it, and even go to a shrink if you want. That's better rather than ruining your friendship with that person. Just because you wanted to help that person, but you didn't know the right approach, so you went all out. Hard love is the best love. No, I don't agree with that. No, it's not really. But sometimes, if it's really extreme situation, yeah, yeah. Sometimes you gotta slap them, smack them around, put it that way, not physically, but anyway, and just come on, you gotta get a grip, and yeah. So yeah, it can be hard. So take back to the original point, taking criticism, knowing what is constructive criticism isn't and is not. It's not easy for everybody, of course, to know, but as the years go, as you get more older, more mature, you start to know, you start to recognize it better. I think not when you are 24 or something. Yeah, then you are a little too full of pride, maybe a little full of shit, to go that way. You can be, the ego is too big when you are in that age. It is, and it gets smaller as you go up. I mean, in age, it does deflate. Thank heavens for that. But when you are a young stallion, or whatever you are, guy or girl, and you just started that life, the adult life, you have a lot of Like you can have a lot of unrealistic expectations also to your life, and you're thinking, yeah, now I'm gonna bust in there, and yeah, I'm gonna be the guy, the man. And then you find out, I'm not the man here. Somebody else is. You get a little disappointed and angry, and then you maybe you don't get the promotion that you thought you hoped, and then somebody else does, and he starts busting your balls, and yeah, I mean it's hard, but that's just a part of life. Yeah, all right. Bye now, and keep that in mind.